hopefully Bitcoin bottoms out here for us. Turn this music down. I'm listening to the music while I talk to you guys. Listen to me some Doge-wave. Hey, it might be bottoming out. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. But it's selling off, so I figured hopefully maybe I could talk some people off the ledge. I'm in a t-shirt. Hold on. I forgot one. Well, hey, I got wireless headphones down. 1 second. Give y'all something in the background. All right. What do we got? What do we got? Low time frame here. So I kind of was looking at levels. Good day, good day. Buenos noches. Let's make this a quick session. We'll just see what we got here. This might be a good buying opportunity, yeah, if you have available cash. I just burned it all today on this dip earlier. So I was pretty much all back in. Right around when we resumed up. So what I look for is I just look for a bounce and a resumption across the level. And when we resume back across 55, I don't know what was it, right about that. Let's see if I can find my level. It doesn't matter. So I'm already pretty much fully positioned back in, and of course it dumps on me. I had some buy the dip funds I was holding on to because I was waiting for that bigger second leg down. Thought we'd get a, so after this 25%er, I thought, you know what, we need another, the market's gonna do another 20%er here, and this probably is now. Yeah, so 20% down gives us a 50, right at 50K, sub 50K. And I had marked, let me show you all the level I'm looking at really closely now. If we lose this, and this is a line in the sand right now. I'm calling this 54. You can kind of see on a lower time frame, there was some support a little bit higher, but it's really this right here. These two daily candles, this bottom wick here, that bottom wick there, gives us right at 54,000. We'll see if we end up wicking down to that and coming back up or not. I really though, I'm looking at this level right now, honestly, right here. That's 48,000. So just be aware that's a possibility for sure. And that I think is right at 20%. There'd be a double 20% sell-off, which could set up a prolonged sideways move. Just be aware. And here, this is why I say that. Let's go back to last cycle. All right, I showed this last night. We did a stream just last night. I've been doing a lot of live streams. I haven't been able to do scripted videos because every time I turn around, there's something happening on the charts and I'm going live. Yeah, I keep looking at this. And this is right at 600% gain. So this was right at 600%. Basically, when 600% up from the price at the opening of the halving, and it's also roughly 3 times the prior all-time high. So in our cycle currently, we're up 600%, and we're at 3 times the prior all-time high. The only problem is day-wise, I think we're over here somewhere. So we're not quite there yet day-wise. So it's just a matter of the timing lineup or is the move lineup. And remember, this last cycle was a longer cycle than the other 2 cycles, so likely we're going to have a shorter cycle. So probably our chart is going to do a lot of the same action but earlier, right? So I was looking for this, and we'll see if this plays out. We'll see if 60K is this prolonged, the 3 times prior all-time high is this prolonged top that we end up with. I think if we lose this level and sell off, we're going to be in an extended time down. We'll see. I hope not. I got fully repositioned back in. Otherwise, I'm just riding this out with everybody else for a couple months. I was hoping to be smart and get out with leave some buy the dip funds for this, but I got duped by the market. I think we'll see. Hopefully not. Hopefully this is just a fake out, and that level is actually more like 100,000. And the reason I was so conflicted, yeah, this is gonna be. Oh boy. The reason I was conflicted is because of the asset inflation going on with the money printing, right? So, you know, this cycle could have broken the mold quite a bit, but you know, you go to halving. Is it on Twitter? The halving tracker chart. Here, let's go to Twitter real fast. Yeah, they got us. They got me anyway. I was looking for this, and guess what? I got duped on this, for sure. That fooled me. I was like, oh, well, it looks like 100K is going to be the level, or 70 something K. And it's not, you know, it's not. This is not set in stone yet. This might just be a temporary sell-off. I've got. My chart looks different on my second screen. I'm looking at it. It looks very different. All right. What was I gonna? Let me look at some comments here. 50. Yeah, this is another level right here for sure. You see that top of that wick? Yeah, that's another level for sure. I'm sorry. I should have clarified. This is like my worst case scenario right now. Is what I was looking at. My kind of like initial worst case scenario, and it is 48. You can get caught hit the 52, which is that trend line right there too. We might catch this level. There's another level in between here. It's right at 50,000, I think too. 50K, you know, right at 50K. There's some more support. It's obviously a psychological level. Staying above 50,000 would be really critical. Psychologically, get below 50,000 and it's probably, this was, you know, you go back to last cycle again. Here. Go back to last cycle again. It looked a lot, it's eerily similar, where you had this, you know, really strong move, initial rejection of quick, what, 30% sell-off, right? And then you had a recovery, it looked like, and you went past that price. Now, this is a much larger time delta than what we had, but then you had an initial. It didn't have to play the same initial 11% sell-off, and then it took out an even higher level again, and then it, you know, and then it started dead cat bouncing for a little bit. So, yeah, if it starts doing this nonsense, we're in for a long trip down. Which I kind of think the market probably fooled me, but I don't know. A little bit upsetting that I was like, yeah, I like totally was sniffing this out, but let's see. So far, is there some news? Is there some reason this is tanking? Did something come out? Does anybody have any news for me? We really need a big wick down. With 1,000+ Bitcoiners selling at the rate similar they did pre-Mt. Gox time. Link below. Let me see here. I mean, I don't. Reuters. Fed likely to pin Royster policy. Rosier likely to pin rosier forecast? Is that what that says? Look, guys, I'm calling it now. We do not go below 50K, somebody says in our Discord chat. I mean, that would be probably the safer bet at this very moment in time. But longs are getting liquidated like crazy right here. Leverage longs are just getting smashed. Because we're not the only ones that probably got fooled by the breakout. We had a valid retest resumption too, for the most. Well, we really didn't. You look at if you followed CTM to the T and waited for it to come back to this support level, we never got a resumption. But you did get this little bit of a pattern here. It looked like a resumption off of that. But I did call it that level 60, right at 60,000. If it took that out last night, but it never resumed off of that either. This was the only retest resumption, but you couldn't really. This is probably a poor area to have taken that. Yeah, I mean, I guess looking at this 12-hour would have probably saved you. Yeah, you never would have taken a long up here above this. But right here, here's the problem. This is the long entry, right? There's a bunch of them right through here for the breakout. So now, glad I got stopped out up here. Or where was I got stopped out at? 50, 55, 5 or so. That's where I got stopped out. Below that second support level. Oh boy, at that third trend line. 2.8. Let's go to a low time frame. Is there? Okay, so what other news? There's got to be something. China taking profits. They tanked ETH right beforehand. So I was listening to. Is it George? What's George's channel? Crypto RS or something? He's been talking a lot about all the on-chain stuff going on, F2 pool and this, that, and the other. And he was talking earlier about somebody moved a bunch of ETH over to um, not Bitfinex. Was it Bitfinex maybe? Maybe it was Bitfinex. And so maybe they obviously converted that ETH to BTC and are dumping now. India said they recanted that, said that they're not going to make it illegal. Yeah, I think we're going to wick below 50K too. That's kind of my... I'm thinking this is going to be pretty nasty. It's going to be pretty rough. I'm looking at something else here. All right. Oh, we'll get a bounce any minute now. So I want to see what happens when we get this. Well, I'm watching this really close. This turn up auto. Watching this really, really close right here. Let's pull up. Not incognito. Guess mode. Hold on a second. Log into my Coinbase account. Let's see here. If we go to the exchange, let's just kind of watch this here. Can you all see that okay? So what I normally do, I gotta log in to do a lot of this. Look at all that buying all of a sudden there. Yeah, so that was the bounce I was saying. We should get a bounce any second now. It's gonna bounce right up into this and then probably resume down. We'll see if it bounces and recovers. If I go to like a 1 minute time frame, my bet is that those algos take it right into that line and back down. Not getting quite up to that line so far. What other news is there? Well, yeah, let's take a look at the comments and the questions here. We got lots of fooled us all, just the usual FUD. Just hate the slow sell-off over many periods. China taking profits. ETH. 50K, look down. I am George. We are all George. Gemini removed the buy walls. FUD, FUD, FUD. Glad I had tight stop loss. 62K by midnight Sunday, taking bets. I might turn around fast. This could be definitely it would be nice. It would be nice because we either need to turn around very fast, like very fast, which is obviously probably more, it's probably still more probable that we just turn around really fast and this be a, the problem is we're like 13, it's kind of a weird level right now. We should go down a little bit more, but it's, more likely to be a quick 15% shakeout. Maybe a 20% shakeout, than it is to be a prolonged 30+% sell-off. But that's still, like, here's the other thing. I keep going back to this. We're gonna touch this. I promise you guys. We're gonna hit that at some point in this market. I just thought, okay, when we broke back up above here, I was like, all right, it looks more likely that we're gonna go ahead and resume up to about 100K before we make this trip down here. At some point, we're coming down to this. The 120-day SMA is currently at 35,000 roughly. That is the absolute worst case scenario, is that we wick all the way down to this thing and then bounce right off of it. Now you can bet that if we show resumption and really bad breakdown down here, I'm gonna be positioned to take advantage of that. Because if we lose all these levels, I guess there's this trend line here. This trend line right here, down at 44,000. And probably getting ahead of ourselves, considering we still haven't even got to this bottom trend line. That was really my initial pull to shoot. And for me, it'd be just do something to free up some capital for a bigger drop. But this long trend line right here, if you who was in our group that figured this one out, right? So if you draw a trend line from the prior all-time high to this impulse high here of 41,000 beginning of January, and then the wick low there at 42,000. they line up nicely. 1, 2, 3 touches. That is the other potential place that we catch. But yeah, this is looking. I don't know. It's because of where we're at in the cycle. It really, really, really is. I'm very conflicted because I've been expecting. The return of that prolonged summer, but I thought it would be again more toward the end of this month, early April, probably like early to mid-April is when I thought it would start. This like large doldrum that we had here. I did some doodling on here, obviously, on our last live stream. But as of right now, if you're positioned, if you're on spot, you're good. Just hold. If you're on leverage, hopefully you got your stop losses in place. And what was I going to say? And yeah, if we lose, the more trend lines we lose here, the more defensively positioned you have to get. Odds are. So what is this like in this little impulse, this mini impulse down? Let me measure this real fast. Just curious. Say from just here to here. That's a 6% sell-off in like a couple hours. Yeah. Yeah. I fear the party might be over for a little bit. We'll see. Hopefully it bounces back fast. Hopefully I'm wrong. Ernie says 62K by midnight Sunday, so that would be really nice. When will it stop? Oh, I'm sorry, Vern, that you got wrecked. That's terrible. Yeah, that's the thing, man. This is it's gonna get tougher and tougher to. It's gonna get more and more volatile. So, like, this is the problem with especially leverage trading, is that you have to just keep your stop losses tight. The problem is, you're going to get wicked out a lot. Like, this might end up just being a wick and then a bounce back, right? And you're just going to get, so, this is why you have to be very lightly leveraged. That's why lightly leverage is a much better play, that, you have time to kind of manually. So I do have one position left on, and it's a manual leverage long, that it's just, my liquidation level is probably $10,000 or something. But, so I would obviously have plenty of time to just decide that, okay, I need to do something different. Take the hit. 53 to... when is the bounce going to happen? What I want to see is when it does bounce, how much does it bounce back? That'll give us kind of a signal for the next leg down, but it's just still tanking. Anybody else have any other... I'm going to look on Twitter here, see if I see any notification. The trade that matters. Alright, let's go to comments here, see if anybody has... terrible, Vern. Let's look back to you saw your comments next. I have to highlight where I left off. Is it worth selling now and buy the dip? Mark, I'm not going to give you any sort of indication on that. Like, the real risk is that you simply sell here and it just bounces right back and it's 62,000 by Sunday, which is probably more likely. So I would say selling right now is a really bad idea if you're at spot. Now, again, if you're on leverage or whatever, what I would do is wait for the bounce and see if you get a resumption down. If you have a leverage position with no stop loss, you just need to just cool your jets and wait for the bounce. And hopefully your liquidation level should always be like way low, to give you plenty of time to decide what you need to do if you're gonna do this with no stop loss. Yeah, so if there's probably a ton of people right now staring at this going, I can't get below this line right here or I'm going to be liquidated. And that's a terrible place. I have no advice for the people in that position. Maybe consider really learning from that lesson and learning risk management, because that would be a terrible place to be. I saw it on Twitter a lot. I think I also underestimate. I saw a bunch of people saying they got liquidated last night on this sell-off right here, and I'm kind of, you know, I feel bad because, you know, when I say things on here, I hope people aren't just like, when I say, oh, it looks like it might be resuming here, like people are taking like 100x leverage longs or something crazy. But yeah, I mean, you definitely, we're getting a little bit of a bounce here now. Let's see if we hit this 54.1 and then resume down. And the distance of the bounce and then the resumption down is going to tell us a little bit of something too, I think. I'm going back to Twitter though. I'm trying to see if I see any more substantial news other than, you know, India's banning Bitcoin for the 800th time, and they just somebody said today in India that, oh no, we're not banning Bitcoin. There's going to be an opportunity for something or other. I forget what they said exactly. Back to comments here. So yeah, Mark, I mean, if you're on spot, definitely I wouldn't sell. Stimmies will affect price starting tomorrow. Well, Ernie's on it. Like I'm not eligible for the stimulus check, so I've not received a single one of them, so I don't know anything about how they work or when they're coming or anything like that. Buenas noches. Hello everyone. Hey Gus. Oh, no problem, David. Thank you for being here. Today all the tokens followed similar behavior 15 cents. Within the next hour, BTC will start climbing after wakes and get settled, after China gets settled. Ernie, you might be all over it, man. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Hopefully this is just a big wick non-event, but there's, you know, we're at the stage now, we're close, so it's either going to be here or at 100K that we have this very prolonged, you know, we have a 20% dip, a little bit of a bounce, and then a 30% dip from there, and it's ultimately like a 40% sell-off type of thing, and it lasts a couple months. I think that's ahead of us. Has it bottomed out, Ghost? I think this is the bounce into resistance, and then probably we're going to get a little bit of a resumption back down, and then we might find our bottom and start the recovery. It's typically what happens. So you get one bounce into resistance, back down to the ultimate support that you're going to find, and then back up. So we'll see. I think this was our bounce into resistance now, on a short time frame, right? On like a 4-hour, this could just be a giant wick. These longer time frames, it could ultimately be a wick. But what happens is, in a low time frame, it's just going to ping pong around until it finds its ultimate support. Don't get liquidated. Yeah, I mean, Vern, bad management, my fault totally. Yeah, Vern. Did you get liquidated by your provider there? That is not a fun situation, that's for sure. So I'm trying to scour both comments and Twitter for anything that might be more substantial. Let's take a look at altcoins. Take a look at what's Ethereum doing. Got all kinds of crazy lines on this chart. And these all need to go. This is obviously not valid anymore, any of this stuff. Probably even that. I don't want that on there anymore. ADA's still holding the buck. Dot. Oh, Dot fell below this. It's not good. Might be a really good buying opportunity. Yeah, typically it's in my experience, if it doesn't recover really, really fast, it usually just consolidates right below the area that it broke down below for a while. So there's a support level right there on Dot, Link. That's the resistance now. I think the daily level is going to be like right there. And I don't really care about XLM. I don't care about Litecoin. Alright, back to Bitcoin. We get the bounce up into that, and then it's going to start to sell off again. Yeah, we might hit this trend line I have here. That may be 52. It looks like 52.6 should get hit. And then the thing is, it's been such a vicious sell-off. Whatever the ultimate support that we find is, I suppose there's some support really light support right here at 53.2. So I'm on a really low time frame just trying to watch this. We might find support right here. Whatever the ultimate support level we're going to find is, because of the speed of the sell-off, we'll probably go dip below it and then recover back above it. All right, look at comments, see if I missed something really good here. Oh, good, Jessica. I'm glad you liked the live streams. That's about all I've had time for. It takes a long time, guys, to research, distill things down, write a script, and try to make it like. That's tough. Could you have a look at ETH? I just did. No problem. I had 5x. Ryan says I had 5x leverage with a stop loss set 3% below my buying point. Is this a good stop loss level? Obviously, I hit it, and I'm looking for a buyback point. 3% might be a bit tight. Like I do 2 support levels. So let me show you what I would have done. Yeah. So say I took, I don't know, this is the last like really decent entry right here. This is an entry right here, roughly right here. Okay. So say I took that entry. My stop loss would be 2 support levels. So say I call this a support and this a support. I'd put it comfortably below that second support level. So let me see, that's 3%. I mean, maybe that is. So I said my support level would be right there. Yeah, my support level is 6% down. So in crypto, if you set like a 3% support level, the odds are you're just going to get constantly stopped out on wick downs. It's going to be a constant problem. So you have to just leave a lot more buffer with a lot smaller position sizes. And so the other thing I do is I layer in position sizes, of course, right? So I don't enter just one big position with a stop loss that I can get wicked out in that entire position. What I do is if we're strongly trending upward, right, I'll enter, say I'll have a small entry here with my stop loss down here, and then I'll take another entry here, and you know maybe use a little bit higher stop loss for that one, and then another entry, say up here, a little bit higher, and I move these stop losses up too. So overall my risk, so I'll take 2 or 3 positions to get up to a 2% say risk position. And then I just manage my stop losses accordingly, and I'll get like max out at 2% risk at any given time, depending on how I'm laddering my stop losses. I try to keep it closer to 1% risk ultimately myself, but I will do like a 2% risk for a short period of time and try to quickly ladder up those smaller positions. And then ultimately, I try to maintain 1 stop loss. Once the trade's really on and I've built the position I want to build, then I just kind of maintain the stop loss and just maintain it as 1 big position. But I just ladder in. And then the reason I ladder in is just because, again, I have to build a bunch of smaller positions to keep larger stop losses, just to keep from getting wicked out on just overnight action. So Coinbase premium still positive, no F2 pull dump. Ernie Petrolengo from RI. 100%. What do you think of Fett? Bubba Fett? I like him. He was one of my favorite Star Wars characters. I don't know what Fett is, other than Bubba Fett. That was an AI play. Fetch your AI. Oh man, look at that. It's up. IoT devices, algorithms. It sounds interesting. Alright, let's look at more comments here while we talk about. Maybe they're being preempted with FOMC. Maybe. Over under 75%, we get to 47K. Over under 75% chance that we get to 47K? I would say under. I think more likely than not, really the realistic worst case scenario right now is this trend line right here. A sell off back to this trend line is, not the end of the world. This is totally, reasonable, realistically speaking, given how much we've come up and where we are in the cycle. Yeah, it's a 20% sell-off. That seems about right to me, like for a worst case, like right at 50K. But of course, we can find support. It just depends on the nature of the sell-off and a few other factors. What's causing the sell-off? 52.6 right here is a good spot. And this little trend line we have right here, we can find support at. So I would say it's under 75% chance we get down to 47K. Because that's even below this support I have right here. That'd have to be a vicious wick down. And if you get down to 47K, yeah, we're in some trouble. And not so much trouble as in not like Bitcoin's going to crash back to 10,000 or anything crazy like that. I mean trouble as in it's just going to have to consolidate at a lower level for a long period of time. So we're just all going to be stuck in the doldrums for for a month or two. Basically, that's what I mean, right? So if we lose these levels, you know, I'm not selling any of my HODL Bitcoin. That's for dang sure. I'll just have to, you know, manage my trades accordingly, and or probably not be in any trades for a while we watch this ping around and consolidate. If it comes down that far, it's gonna just do this business for a bit. Bounce back up to 53 and then down to 48 and then up to 58, and then, you know, it'll take a while to recover, basically. Okay, so we're getting that second bounce now. So we got that initial bounce into resistance, came back, and it just barely below. So this is, you know, so far we're ping-ponging between this trend line and that 54,150 level. So we'll see if we keep ping-ponging there. If we break down, we could totally break down more. And maybe wick down to 52.6 for the next wick down. And ping up to that trend line and then lose 52.6, right? That might be what happens. So, you know, what the algos are doing is they're making money in all this action, right? So we got down here, come back up here, come down here. And then if we break it, hit that, come back to that, break that. Something like this, right? Or we just ping pong here and we fight with this, and you see it kind of starting to, and then you get this, and then the recovery is on, right? So we'll just keep an eye on it. We'll just keep an eye on it here and see what happens. Nobody knows. There's nobody that knows what's going to happen next. Not a single person knows what's going to happen next. If they say they know, they're lying. So we'll all watch it together. All right, comments. Brandon, I just pointed to the 1,000. Oh, I'm way behind on comments, guys. So I need to catch up here. Brandon, I just pointed to the 1,000 BTC chart. Are you? Is it in chat? Did you like include me or something? All right, let me just get caught up in comments. Bagum, audio person. Who is it? Hello. Y'all can hear me, right? Let's go to the very bottom. I'm gonna go to the bottom up here. Daniel from Chart Champions knows the best. We have it. That's cool. GBTC Riot Mara all went up. Actually made money today. Good job, Roger. Congrats. Just got here. Have you talked about the Elon's NFT thing? That's hilarious. He was trying to sell a song about NFTs as an NFT. That was cool. That was hilarious. No, I haven't talked about it because I just thought it was a joke. Pretty sure it was. Just get ready for Grayscale. Push the price. Grayscale was up while BTC was down today. Yeah, the premium was recovering. That's okay. Grayscale was up. Okay, as a person with not much skin in the game, this is noise. I don't know what you mean by noise. The sell-off, or watching the sell-off, watching all of us. Brandon's on it. Great insights. Oh, thank you. Sounds good. And I forget the. Okay, what's makes more sense? Dollar cost averaging with wiggle room. Yeah. Market cap reached 1.8 trillion recently. Do you think it's possible 5 trillion market cap this year? What market cap? Bitcoin hit 1.8 trillion? What? I thought it was barely over a trillion. Let's go take a look. So currently we're right at 1 trillion. So, you know, 53,000, so 54,000, which is basically where we're at, is right at 1 trillion. So I believe at the very peak we were only at like 1.2 trillion, right? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong here. Do my math. That's only like 10%, if that, right? So maybe, yeah, like 1.2 trillion. So I think we had a $1.2 trillion market cap on Bitcoin. Do I think 5 trillion market cap is possible this year? Yes. I'm going up on the comments just to make sure. Do you follow Jordan Lindsey? You guys talking in chat? Oh, John, that's right. Hey, John. Sorry. Sounds good, John. I'm guessing I'm going backwards, so I'm confused. But yeah, you guys need to follow Jordan Lindsey. Absolutely, 100% for sure. He's the man with the plan. 52.4. He's showing that. 52.4. I have 52.675 as my support, my support, and I've got the very peak of this wick right here. I mean, I totally see 52.4. These bodies over here. maybe. Is that 52.4? The bottom of this daily. Yeah. So that makes sense too if you put it right there. You know, it's a good support level. That open and close of that body there. 52.4, 7, 52, right around 52.4. I prefer looking at dailies for my support, you know, and resistance levels. This needs to be right there. All right, back to the comments. All right, I got to the very end of the comments. Let's go back down now. Trading dollar market cap, now the bottom. Hey, that'd be nice. You know what? That would be beautiful. So we got a nice bounce back into. We are into resistance now on a short time frame. On a long time frame, you know, 4 hour. This is looking good. That we've recovered to that. This is my line in the sand. That yellow is my line in the sand. Like we really can't get below that, or we're going to be stuck in purgatory for a bit. What that boils down to is if we close meaningfully below this yellow line, right? It's not that it's going to tank or it's going to go to 20,000. That's not what I mean. I just simply mean the line in the sand is. This is to me the point that if we get below this, we're going to be consolidating down here, right? If we stay above this, then the recovery will probably be pretty fast back out of here. That's because we just don't want to flip that level right there to resistance. That's the big thing. So we'll see if we can't if price can't retake that in a relatively short period of time. It doesn't have to be even the next couple hours. It can be like by tomorrow. I think we'd be fine. A daily close tomorrow. Is the daily already done for the day? Hold on. Now we got 4 hours left on the daily. Yeah, the next 4 hours would be pretty meaningful. What was that? Yeah, it's on my daily now. On everybody else's daily, I think the daily just started over, right? UTC. All right. Hey, I think there's a correlation between low premium and GBTC and an impending drop. What do you think, Todd? I have been thinking that same exact thing. That hey, if the premium's dropping, that means that a lot of people. But I think we've had a conflict. Just so many new trusts are available now that I think the low premium on GBTC was more just indicative of the fact that there's more options for people to rotate to. And so I wasn't trying to overthink that. All right. Homer, could you elaborate a little bit on the alt FOMO phase again, please? How can alts pump so hard when BTC is pumping the same time from roughly 60 to 90K? I thought BTC had to stand still for alts to run. Okay. I can see why you would think that, and I would think that too if I didn't closely study this chart here. I will show you what I mean by that. And I think we have two things. I'm going to put ETH USD on here, the Coinbase feed, and I'm going to put DOT USD. The reason I'm going to put DOT USD on here is I think DOT is a good representative of what, of a project that is very strong versus Bitcoin this cycle, whereas ETH, DOT is kind of the ETH for this cycle, right? That's kind of the way I'm seeing it right now. Now Cardano, I still like Cardano better for the long term and for the rest of this cycle, but the main thing is Cardano has had more of a meteoric rise more recently, whereas DOT has been more steadily appreciating. So I like using DOT's chart, but take a look at this. All right, so I'm going to change this color to be respectful of Ethereum to purple, kind of their, like as close as I can get to their theme color. All right, so we go take a look at the cycle. So I remember I called this the rotation phase, right? So Ethereum USD went up while Bitcoin was going down, right? That was kind of money was rotating from apparently, some funds were at least going from Bitcoin over to Ethereum while that happened. But then you see, here's the FOMO phase I'm talking about. All right, so last cycle, this is a big move on Bitcoin. It doesn't look like it because of how much bigger, but from the beginning, let me put it at the very beginning here, what would be the FOMO phase, right? From the beginning of the FOMO phase, the equivalent, which is right after, like you see this shaded box, this is where we're at in our cycle. So I put it really literally at where we're at in our cycle, right? And we move forward from there. All right, so ETH starts kind of slow, but they both are in a pretty good uptrend, right? And so Bitcoin gains, so this is the end of April basically. By the beginning of May, roughly a couple weeks later, Bitcoin's up 30-40% from there, and then consolidates a little bit, and then he's up 100% roughly in what, 2 months? April, May, in a month, right? So in a month, Bitcoin's gone up 100%, and Ethereum's gone up 200%, 260%, and then they both sell off together. Bitcoin sells off from 111 down to 45%. Ethereum sells off from 266 down to 196% gain. And then they both continue their rise. And at the peak of it here, Bitcoin had gained 128%, while Ethereum had gained 626%. So, you know, a move of 60,000 to 100,000 is not even, you know, it's, what would that be? Let's go do the math on that real fast. I don't want to. Hold on. Get off percentage. Sorry. All right, let's go to. I would try to do the math in my head. This is where we're at right now, roughly, right? So from 60,000 to 100,000. Oh, phooey. Sorry. Here we go. That would be a 70% move. All right. So in the FOMO phase last time, Bitcoin made 140% gain, while Ethereum made a 600% gain, and that was I think right after. It was right around the same. It started right around the same time frame, distance, like days into from the halving as we're at right now. That started. So again, a run, and you know, we would probably, if we do, because of this consolidation we have right now, the truth is this consolidation, this sell-off is actually fantastic, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's gonna reset all the indicators. The pi cycle top is gonna get. It's gonna slow that pi cycle top down a lot. It's gonna reset the weekly RSI. It's going to you know, cool off a whole bunch of indicators, and give and a little bit more consolidation is going to give a ton of fuel. So the next move will probably be a monster impulse, you know, to 80s or something, and then a little bit of a sell-off back into the 70s, maybe high 60s, and then the next leg up is going to be big, and it'll probably peak out in the low 100s, like more like 108,000, something like that, right? Which would make more sense, and then sell off. And then we start our summer doldrums as we fight with 100,000. That seems, you know, I don't know. This is not financial advice. I didn't start my thing with this. It's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't, you know, van by the river. But that's kind of what I'm thinking, right? So if Bitcoin makes an 80% gain from here up to 100,000, there's a good chance that the alts could still appreciate even more. Now they've made such a big move. I was kind of worried about that. So let's go look at one other thing here before I forget. Let's look at one other thing that Ethereum did last cycle. It's down here at the bottom. I gotta go to percentage. All right. One other thing. You see the cycle where we're at in our cycle. So we're roughly 644% up. 300 and we're really 308 days in now. Sorry, I had that slightly off. I'm sorry. I adjusted it last night, but apparently TradingView didn't. So let's just say 650%, 644% I think is where we were at, 308 days, right? So yeah, this shaded bar is roughly where we were. Now look, how much had Ethereum, you know, appreciated from the halving to that point? Ethereum is already up 700% from the halving to this point in the cycle, and then went on from 700% up to 3,500%, right? So it seemed like it maybe had run out of gas and did consolidate here a little bit. Then it just went absolutely bananas. All right, and that was roughly like 310 days. The last cycle were 308 days, right? So I don't know that Ethereum is going to do that, because we looked at one other metric last night that Ethereum is tracking really close to Bitcoin this cycle, whereas it was a lot less correlated last cycle. Now you look at Polkadot. Polkadot, I think, is a much closer analog for this cycle of what you know, Ethereum for last cycle. It's far more speculative. It's got a lot more upside because it started with a much smaller market cap, so forth and so on. So this cycle, Bitcoin has made a bigger move to this point. It's up 600% versus like 300 or 400% last cycle. I can't remember the exact number, but Polkadot has gone up 1,000%. So remember, last cycle Ethereum went from 700%, consolidated a little bit, and then blasted off to 3,500%. Well, Polkadot made a move to a little bit more than 700, a 1,200% move, and is consolidating. And you know, it's not impossible, as crazy as crypto can get, that Polkadot blasts off to like a 3,000% gain from this 1,000% gain, right? And we have another 2x, 3x from here. So that's possible. That's in the cards. I wouldn't bank on it at this stage. I'd be very cautious about trying to bet on that given the sell-off we've already had here. Let's go back to Bitcoin here. I'm going to go back. Let me look at comments here, see if anybody can... Oh, we got a nice bounce back. So, yeah, cool. So we got this initial... This is good. This is really good because we got this into here. Then we got a rejection on a 12-minute right now, right? This is my lowest time frame. This is what I... If and ever when I do day trading, I day trade on 12 minutes. And then we get a bounce back here. All right. I'm going to look at comments. I hope that made sense. I hope that answered your question about the cycles and where we're at and what could be ahead of us. Hey, Edward. So, okay. Overall market cap, crypto market cap. Oh, overall market cap. Yeah. I think Bitcoin by itself can make 5 trillion this year. Yeah. Hope this is the bottom. My liquidation is 52,143. Barbara, I really hope that you're safe. It would be great. I would really, guys, caution you if you were either facing or got liquidated. And I'm really sorry if you got liquidated. That's terrible. The truth is, everybody that's in trading has to go through some tough times. Everybody has to just, you have to learn almost everybody has to learn the hard way in trading. And if you got liquidated, or if you got close, if you got liquidated, again, I'm sorry. Please learn the lesson of the necessity of risk management. Because the thing is that you can have 1 or 2 really good trades, and then you're going to build some really bad habits. If it does work out in your favor, and you do take really risky trades, and it works out, just the reality is you're going to end up losing it because you're going to keep taking those risky trades, and then they're not going to work out over a long time. So learn the value of risk management. If you got close to being liquidated, take a deep breath. The sell-off isn't over with either, possibly. But just take a deep breath and really evaluate where you're at and your risk levels, and figure out if there's something you can adjust to keep yourself safer, just in case we might get some consolidation here and it might break down. This bottom trend line, as I put on Twitter, I'm basically in island virtual island. I'm sitting on the beach sipping pina coladas because I've got my hodl position. I'm smarting a little bit that I re-entered fully right here with my buy the dip funds. I didn't take advantage of this dip, but otherwise I'm just chilling because my liquidation level and my leverage longs is probably $10,000 or $20,000, and I still have funds I can move to the exchange if it ever became that bad. But no, I'm not worried about it. But yeah, it's a good place to be. It's a good place to be watching the sell-off going, oh, I'm sad I didn't get to buy this dip down here because I used up all my funds, but I'm also not at all concerned about losing any of my position, right? So, make sure that you have your position size. Risk management is to me, the most important lesson in trading is learning risk management. Learning how to properly, protect yourself, because unexpected things happen. Nobody can predict the future. Still, nobody knows what the price of Bitcoin is going to be in the next hour. Not a person on earth knows it. There may be some algo that has enough funds and is powerful enough to get it pretty close to what they want. That's a possibility. But no human trader, unless they have, a monster account, can just control the market for a short period of time, knows where this is going to be in the next hour. And none of us do ever. So you cannot assume that your next trade is going to work out and just put all your chips in that. That's a recipe for disaster. All right. Serious question: why is BTI fundamentally intrinsically better than Dogecoin or Litecoin? What is BTI? A Dogecoin and Litecoin? Is it BTC? Is that what you meant to ask there, Ron? Okay, so here's the problem with both Doge and Litecoin. They are trying to be currency, right? They're basically trying to be a form of exchange between two parties. And the reality is that both of them, so Doge is just a fork of Litecoin. Litecoin only does twice the transaction rate of Bitcoin, roughly. Maybe 3 times, I don't really know. If it's 14 or 21, somewhere in that range, right? What the world needs is if you're going to use a digital cryptocurrency for everyday transactions, we need more like 1 million transactions per second. So Litecoin and and Dash or Doge, all of them fall far short of what's actually needed. And Bitcoin is the reserve currency for all things digital, all things cryptocurrency. It's the reserve currency, and it's got the status of gold 2.0 in investment circles. So, the institutions, for the most part, do kind of consider it kind of a gold 2.0, right? So it's got both the reserve currency for crypto and that going for it. So if anything is going to be the payment medium of everyday transactions, Bitcoin is most likely to do it if it can scale. And it absolutely can scale. It's very easy to scale Bitcoin. There's two ways. One, natively to the Bitcoin ecosystem with scaling solutions, layer 2 scaling. The Lightning Network has all the potential in the world to do the majority of scaling that's needed for day-to-day transactions. And two, through again, layer 2 scaling in a different way. I'll flip my music here real fast while I'm talking about this. We can use different layer 2 scaling by if you've seen wrapped BTC, RIM BTC, wrapped BTC, all these different ways of creating a synthetic asset that's linked one-to-one to Bitcoin, just like a stable coin. It's like a stable coin built with Bitcoin, right? You can build that on a bunch of different blockchains, and there are blockchains that are coming out that will do tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of transactions per second themselves. So inside the crypto sphere, if we need to do very quick transactions on decentralized exchanges or whatever, we can use a wrapped variant of Bitcoin, right? So there's lots of ways to scale it outside of the core base layer. So there's just no real world use left for those projects that are slightly faster, but still very dramatically inferior to what's needed. They don't meet any needs at all in the real world, and they don't have the backing that Bitcoin has as far as the recognition. So there's just a lot of reasons why anything that tried to be a currency that's not Bitcoin is just not going to work. MS says you're okay. I'm talking to somebody else here. Should I be worried about my portfolio dropping hard? No. If you're invested in Bitcoin, you're in a really good spot right now. This is part of the game. I wouldn't be worried about a huge drop. I'd only be worried about if you've got, leveraged trades on margin. The biggest concern I would have is that we fall below one of these key levels and we just consolidate and go sideways for a long time, and it just drains your account. That's the biggest thing, and it's not the end of the world either. It's not gonna. I think if you're appropriately leveraged, it's just a matter of, managing that appropriately. But if we lose this level again, I don't think we're tanking to like 20,000 or anything. We got tons of support. It's just a matter of how long does it take for us to recover, and that's really the speed of the move will dictate a lot about how we manage our trades, right? If it's going to go sideways, we really can't trade it. So it's time for us to sip pina coladas and be on a virtual beach, which is kind of where I'm at right now. Hey, Edward. All right. 52 coins sitting at 54.5 on. Yeah, that'll go by fast. 52. If there's a wall of 52 coins, that's not much. You're missing one last demand line in the last uptrend. Am I? A trend line? I think I deleted one of my trend lines, thank you. You can draw, like, if I wanted to go crazy, man, I could draw like 40 trend lines in here. It's like, so you're gonna find lots of trend lines I'm missing because I just don't I don't need them all for my eyes to see all these, intermediate levels in here, right? And the whole thing is it's a trend, so the whole price level is trending that direction. So, you really don't need all these stinking trend lines unless you're coming into a specific level that you're working off of. I had only had 3 on here for the longest time, and really once we get back out of here, I'll probably delete these middle ones. A lot of times I'll even delete the bottom one and just keep the top one. All right, I hope that's what you meant. So if I got liquidated today, I feel like killing myself. Man, Cat, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's terrible. Don't kill yourself. If you're seriously thinking if that's a serious comment, please call and get help or something, because this is not worth it to get that upset over losing a digital asset. And the other thing too is, you're here, you're with us. If you stop and just calm down, take a deep breath, you've learned an invaluable lesson that you have to learn to be a good trader. You've learned it. You've experienced it now, what it's like to be on the wrong side Now it's time for you to take a deep breath and to really research what good risk management is in trading, because that is the next step for you. You have to start every trade with good risk management from now on. And if you do that, you will start to find yourself on the right side of the trade. Also, you need to be plugged into the Conquering the Markets community. Be on Jordan Lindsey's live stream, 8 a.m., every morning. And along with learning risk management, you're going to learn how to see through the matrix. That's what it becomes when you join that training program. The markets become like you just read the matrix. So take a deep breath, get plugged in with us, learn good risk management, and things will turn around for you. You will start to see much better results. Just take a deep breath. I'm going to tell you a story, Kaff, since you are K-A-F-F. I'm going to tell you a story about myself, okay? So when I very first started trading, I was a fundamental values investor. I thought that was the best way to do it, right? I had, a pretty good career in technology and made a reasonable amount of money, and I had a good amount of money I don't spend all my money, right? So I had a lot of money saved up, and I started buying value stocks. I guess it was probably 2008, right around 2008, the crash, right? So I got hurt pretty bad in the crash the first time, just 'cause everybody did. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying to buy value stocks, and so I doubled down and bought, and it did okay for a little bit, but then I bought really too heavy into energy just a couple of years later, and energy tanked bad, as you know, not long after all that too. So energy kind of, it bounced. Basically, it was a big dead cat bounce in energy. Energy had gone up. Oil hit 147. I think that's a big part of what caused the 2008 crisis. And then it just tanked, right? And so I got hurt with everybody else. I lost a lot of money there. I lost a lot of money on, after the recovery, I put way too much in energy. I had way too much invested in energy, and then energy tanked again. Not long after that. Let's look at the XLE, and I'm going to show you. I'll show you my timeline as a trader. And I was doing so much work. I was working so hard. Here's the XLE. I just want to show you this. Yeah. So I started really kind of trading 2008, right? So I got to eat all this. I got to learn what it was like to lose and all that, and it was not fun. It was painful. And then I did okay, but I didn't know what I was doing, and I get shooken out of all kinds of things. And the market probably knocked me all around. I was probably a break-even trader for the most part until we got here. And somewhere through here, I don't know exactly where, 2014, 15, I was way too heavily invested in energy. And this was the last time that I lost a lot of money in the markets, was just riding this down. And I said never again. And I started studying the heck out of technical analysis and everything else. It became like a market mercenary. And I was actually starting to make some of my losses back. But I'm going to tell you, in this drop and in this drop, I lost more money than people make in 2 or 3 years, than most people make in several years. I lost more than that, okay? I'm not going to say the dollar figure because it's just not how we do things around here. But just know that I lost more money than most people make in several years. And so it was a slow climb back. And I had partly recovered quite a bit before finding Jordan Lindsey and Conquer Trading. And now, obviously, with the monster year we've had with crypto, I'm way back up. But it's taken me from roughly 2015, roughly when I kind of hit bottom somewhere in here. I said, that's it. None of the Buffett style stuff does not work. I had done the research. I knew these companies were good companies, and I kept buying the dip, right? That's another thing that, they looked really attractive here. So I probably bought a bunch there. I don't know exactly how this all played out. But then I became just like, that's it. I'm going to find a better way. And I found technical analysis and became a market merchant. So just to know, we all go through it. I spent, what was that? So 2008, 2015, what was that, 7? I haven't really done the math before. But I spent the first 6-7 years being, a losing trader by far, doing a lot of work. I mean, I would read companies' full yearly reports and do a bunch of work around their return on invested capital, their, book value, cash flow, balance sheets, learning all the metrics that all the accountant guys know, studying the heck out of everything, and coming up with intrinsic value, what I thought was the intrinsic value for these companies, based on growth and all kinds of metrics, and I was buying, and I would find myself on the wrong side of the market all the time because the market didn't like something, and the reason it was cheap and it looked so attractive was because of there was usually some reason that I just didn't understand. And so painful lessons are a part of the process. But I can tell you right now, the shortcut to success is conquering the markets. Period. End of story. That's the best shortcut to success in trading. All right. So please don't get too disheartened. Just stay with it. You'll be all right. All right. Let's go back to this. I do not trade full time. No, I have I work for a technology company. Pretty good, really good gig. At some point, I will possibly look at doing it full time. But for now, I've got a 1-year-old, and the having a family and having good health benefits and a real stable gig. I've worked my whole career in technology, so I'm pretty seasoned in technology. So, all right, it's the usual 10% liquidation round. William, yeah. So William, I saw the news earlier that it looked like Gemini, the thing that everybody thought was this massive influx into Gemini, was just a internal transfer. I literally talked about that. I think last night or the one of the last 2 live streams I did, I talked about that. Just keep in mind that a lot of these big transfers that you see on like whale alerts, a lot of times it's just internal. For some reason, the exchanges are moving funds around between different wallets for a million different reasons. They might be doing it. So just know that sometimes it's just exchanges moving stuff on exchange. Whales can hear the music. AI might be orchestrating the music. Very true. The reason, okay. The usual 10% liquidation round. This is more than 10%, but yeah. I mean, this looks like a good smash and grab, right? 14% sell-off if we recover here and bounce back. And let's give some props to who was it that called 62K? Who's bold in calling it right in the middle of the sell-off. I want to give some props or dues. Ernie, so far you're looking good there. So far you're looking good. So we'll just see. We need to consider DXY too. Yes, I'm gonna go to the bottom. Hopefully you got some encouragement from the rest of the group here. Are you on KAFF? Are you plugged into Conquering the Markets? If you're not plugged in with us, you need to be. Oh, you're 19 years old? You have a bright future ahead of you, man. You've got the whole world. 19 years old, you are set up for, you know what? This setback right now is the best thing that ever happened to you. As stupid as it sounds, there's going to be a day you look back and go, man, that was the best thing that happened to me because I learned a valuable lesson. I learned discipline, and you're never gonna find a better lesson than what you just learned. ETH ADA will jump this week. Oh, you gonna say my ADA is gonna tank on me? Let's take a look at ETH ADA. Somebody talking trash about my ADA. I've been saying I do think the play in the near future, because of the parachain auctions that are going on. Yeah, here we go. ETH to ADA. Is ETH gonna take claw back some of its lost? I have ADA ETH. I think it's the other way around. I have it on my chart over here. Here's my ADA BTC. ADA ETH. There it is. Yeah. So see this? We're on a key support right now. ADA ETH. Are we gonna lose that? I do think Polkadot's going to get all the love here pretty soon. Again, I keep using Polkadot more lately because of the Kusama. So the parachain auctions should be coming up pretty soon. I don't think there's not an official date that I could see. It looks like it's just whenever they feel good about it. They're going to start the parachain auctions, which Kusama will be the first place that there are live projects, right? So the parachain auctions should start pretty soon. When that happens and we get word on which projects are being awarded parachain slots on at least Kusama, it's just going to be so much hype. So I think Polkadot's going to be, but the thing is that Polkadot won't be ready for the main chain, the Polkadot chain parachain slots. They won't be ready for that until probably early 2021. So they'll do the auctions, but they seem to indicate that they're not gonna go live on the main chain until early 2021, after the auctions, and they open up the parachain slots. So that's why I think with the first round of auctions coming up here for the Kusama network, I think that's where it's going to get a lot of hype. And then I think it's going to be a lull. That's why I think ADA is going to kill it in the second half of the bull market and later this year, because ADA is going to go live with Goguen in the heart of the parabolic blow off top for Bitcoin probably. So in June, July, they should be going live with Goguen, and then Cardano will be fully live, and that's right as Bitcoin should be making its parabolic move, and right before alt season, so you got a fresh mountain of hype for Cardano coming into that last. And let me show everybody who people may be new here. Let me show you what I mean by the blow off top phase. All right, so let me throw ETH USD back on here. Let me go back to percentage. All right, I'm gonna go back to last cycle again and take a look at what happened at the very end of the market. So we had this summer doldrums when there's that kind of double sell off, and you have this very long, prolonged period of time. This whole period of time here, it's several months, when basically BTC is sideways, more or less. So you're below this line for a couple of months, and then you have this big sell off to not far above it, right? And so but after that is over, and you start the really parabolic phase, which is from, it was started really in November 13th, and it ended December 15th. So it's barely over a month, like 32 days or something. You'll see, so first of all, Ethereum just bled this whole time. It just was a nothing burger, as Kevin O'Leary would say. And then, after Bitcoin made its peak right here, let me draw you a vertical line, right there. Look what happened to Ethereum from that point on. Bitcoin sold off. Let me make this line like yellow, make it stand out a little bit. Bitcoin started selling off, and Ethereum started ramping. So we kind of think, and nothing has to play out like we think. Just know that, right? I'm not a financial advisor either. But as Bitcoin sold off, it seems like instead of taking profit into fiat exclusively, a lot of people decided to rotate into what looked like underperforming altcoins. So they'd been underperforming Bitcoin, so people rotated into Ethereum mainly, but other altcoins too. And there was this massive blow off top for the altcoins at the very end here after Bitcoin was selling off. So once Bitcoin makes its peak, so I think if you look at the timing of this, Cardano is going to probably launch its Goguen somewhere through here, right as the FOMO is really kicking in, or maybe back here, right? And so Cardano is going to have mainnet launch, plus all the new projects that are announcing that they're going live into it, right as this is happening, and then that big final rotation into alts. Now I'm going to show y'all something. Let's go to BNB's chart. This is a good example of what happens after a mainnet launch when you get a big project announcement. Now the timing of it, we'll have to see what the timing looks like. But if I go to BNB coin, wherever the heck it's at. All right, what caused the big spike in BNB? So they technically went live a while ago, right? But this spike was all about Pancake Swap coming over. So I think BNB Smart Chain went live, like last year sometime. And it's consolidating now. But this was a project. There was some update here, caused some hype, but this was Pancake Swap, I believe. Predominantly it drove this, right? Pancake Swap moving over, big project, bringing a lot of new fresh liquidity, a lot of new funds to it. All right, back to comments. Hi, 2 a.m. Wow, thought Bitcoin only wakes up folks from US. Pancake Swap got hacked today? Oh man, did I see that? I saw something else got hacked. Oh, some NFT project got hacked. I was, shocked. This is the look of me being shocked by that. Like, oh, yeah. An NFT project being hacked? Yeah, it's only time. It's early 2021. You mean 2022? Oh, did I say something about early 2020? Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, early 2022 is when the Polkadot parachain, the main parachain slot should be filled. So the auction will maybe happen late this year, and then they'll go live early next year, something like that. Well, I think KFF, I think you might have, hopefully you found the right place. I'm going to put Jordan Lindsey. Can somebody put Jordan's, I need to make a moderator. Who do I know that's really, I'm going to put his channel here real fast. You need to be on his channel. This is the best way to get you get your head in the right place. And it starts every morning at 8 a.m., so it's a great way to get your head situated. Let's see here. Poker, trading and investing. All right, here's the channel. If you don't know it, get on Jordan's channel, and let's see if, is this, how do I share his channel? There's a share button somewhere in here, isn't there? I don't think this link will work. I have to go to his channel. Maybe I have to go to his channel. Let me find a video. Hopefully, I'm just gonna find the newest video. I'm gonna post the video because I know that'll work. Sorry about that. So there's his video, and let me go back to his channel. I'll copy and paste the link. Oh, there it is. I got it. That's the channel. Yep. I just put a plus on that. I didn't mean to. Can I delete a comment? Remove that comment. Okay. There you go. Hopefully that works for you. Plug in with us there. Conquer the markets. You still in Cardano? Have you looked it over yet? Yeah, I still have my HODL position. I've got it on a staking node, my own private stake node. So, yeah, I'm not selling it. It's let me get out the percentage here. It looks good to me. I'm super happy we kept the dollar. I did not expect. Like I kid you not. I kept telling everybody I don't think it's going to sell off as bad as people thought. But when I said that, I was thinking it was going to sell off to like 80 cents. I did not think we'd hold a dollar. Not at all. So the fact that we held a dollar, I'm like, wow, okay. I thought we'd come back to the bottom of this last, consolidation here, which was at like 75 cents, like this area right here. Actually, I thought this is where we're going to at least come back to test this area right here. And so far we haven't. And Bitcoin just did a couple of big sell-offs, and it's holding up pretty good. So I'm pleasantly surprised. It's consolidating beautifully. It's a multi-day. Look at this. Like what is this? It peaked out on the 27th of February. I closed my trade at 139. So I got out a little bit early. Didn't quite get the top. But I closed, yeah. My trade got closed at 139. And I tried to re-enter over here. And we broke down this little trend line I have right here. We broke down this trend line. I got out of my trade. So I was like, I think a small loss on that trade. And I've just been watching it since then. It looks good though. I'm just waiting for it to break this downtrend and resume up, and then I might take another trade on it. I'm really not in the mood to trade Cardano a whole lot. I mean, it's 20% of my holding right now anyway because it's outperformed everything else. So as a cost basis, it started about the same as ETH, Link, and Polkadot, but it's outperformed. So, all right. Yeah. Joshua talks about the Buffett thing. That's an interesting story. Let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Yeah, no problem. Let's take a look at the BTCD. I think, well, we're back in that support there. Let's see if it holds up. So this is that bounce. I'm on a 1 hour. Let's see. Now this is resistance here. See this wick right here? So we do have some very light resistance. I'm just going to borrow this line. Why is it not moving for me? Right there, we came into some light resistance. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We're looking okay so far. Not too bad. Down to the 12 minutes. Let's look at the Bitcoin dominance. That's a really good point. So I said this. If Bitcoin dominance broke out to the upside, I was a little bit concerned. Because that could mean that everything is selling off. Which is interesting. Look at this Bitcoin dominance. So it's Bitcoin selling off, the alts are holding up, which is interesting. I wouldn't have thought that. So a lot of times when Bitcoin dominance spikes, obviously it's two reasons. One, Bitcoin is making a monster impulse and sucking the life out of everything. And two, everything is selling off, and Bitcoin is selling off slower than the rest of crypto, which happens a lot. The fact that this is Bitcoin is by itself selling off more, you could construe that as manipulation of Bitcoin, because the rest of the coins are just like, yeah, we're not selling off. It's just literally Bitcoin dumping. There's a little bit of support there for the Bitcoin dominance too. Let's see. So it broke out of this down. Obviously, I don't have the outer touches here, and you probably should draw these the outer touches. I had a reason for where I had it, probably because of this, all these right here. Yeah, so, you know, I mean, you could really just redraw it like this. Be probably a little more accurate. But anyway, we broke out of this little bit of consolidation pattern we had here in Bitcoin dominance. Look at that. Yeah, so you had a mini breakout here, came into resistance there, and then sold off. You know, it's been sideways though, really. Bitcoin dominance has, and so in the FOMO phase, what I would expect to kind of happen potentially is that we sell off. You see this line down here at 50 that I have? Let's see if I can hold on 1 second. Go to 3-day. We got to get us a wider time frame. Take it off of auto. All right. You see, it's a pretty kind of broad spectrum, and this is kind of the main downtrend I was watching. We got into here, it was looking real dicey for alts. Like you know, it was like some of us, you know, I myself was starting to question: is alt season not going to happen? Is like the institutional buying just going to cause Bitcoin to really just really maintain a significantly dominant position? Then we tracked this head and shoulders. I posted about a head and shoulders, and boom, it broke down, came back into the head and shoulders neckline, and then broke down hard. But this is Bitcoin dominance. So what Bitcoin dominance is, for those of you that are new or haven't seen this before, this is the percentage of market cap, the total market cap of all crypto. So right now, as we look at this, Bitcoin is 62% roughly of the entire crypto market cap. And you know, at its highest lately, it got up to 73% of the entire crypto market was Bitcoin. Now, it's probably never going to see these levels again, right? All of the crypto projects would have to die for it to see these type of numbers. So what we're working with here is, it's in a perpetual downtrend. It should be, because in theory, over time, more and more crypto projects should eat more and more into the total pie, right? It's the bigger, as the pie grows bigger, it's going to be divided up amongst more participants. Anyway, so it's kind of in a perpetual downtrend on the dominance. But what we watch this for is the reaction of altcoins. And when Bitcoin dominance is strong, altcoins are weak. When Bitcoin dominance is weak, altcoins are strong. You know, for one reason or another. So where we're at right now is we're very much sideways. In the FOMO phase, I'm sorry, I got off of that, and I meant to talk about that for a second. I was waiting for a sell-off all the way to 50, right? In the FOMO phase, we might get there. But so there's two. It might be. Let's see. I think I have a 33 level on here too. We turn off. Yeah, there we go. So what I was thinking is our rotation phase would do something like this. And then our FOMO phase would come down all the way to 50 and then bounce as Bitcoin makes its big blow off top, probably back to this line. And then or somewhere like maybe, you know, up here, I don't know, one of these 60% or something. And then in that final rotation, after Bitcoin sells off and makes its blow off top, and altcoins go up while Bitcoin's going down, Bitcoin dominance could tank all the way back down to this 35 level we saw it before recovering. And I would kind of expect, you know, after this cycle, we're looking at more of a 50% to 35% range, as opposed to a 70% to a 50% range. So we'll just see what happens. But most likely in the FOMO phase, when it happens, which apparently we haven't got there yet, which seems crazy with how much altcoins have gone up. But this trend line right here at 53%, 54%, and then this line that I have here, as you can see why I got that level. At 50% of the market cap is maybe where it'll bottom out in the FOMO phase. Let's go back to Bitcoin. What about sell? I like Celsius. Sell's okay. Celsius. Celsius is okay. I got one of our guys in, so Lemmy from our group got me into Celsius. So I put a little bit of funds on there. I don't trust their security. I'll be honest with you. I vastly trust BlockFi's security, because they're using multi-sig HSMs with Gemini's cold storage. So, and when I say HSMs, that's hardware security module. So they have a lot of pretty good security, and I'm pretty confident in their security. Celsius does their security at a much more software level. They don't have a lot of infrastructure level security devices, it seems like. And I'm very hesitant to trust their security heavily. So I put some funds on there. I'm going to probably diversify and put maybe 20% of what I had on BlockFi onto Celsius just to diversify a little bit and to actually lower my risk just in case something crazy happens with BlockFi, which I do not think. I mean, with Pomp being behind it and with the Winklevoss twins being behind it and a bunch of other big names, BlockFi seems pretty stable to me. The only problem I have with BlockFi is it's more centralized, whereas Celsius is more decentralized. So from a crypto purist standpoint, Celsius is the better project, from a purist standpoint in theory. But the reality is, when we're trying to protect our funds and our assets, I just don't trust it as much. All right. I hate XRP. I hate XRP. I'm not even gonna look at it. It's probably looking terrible still. Yeah, it still looks terrible. XRP BTC. So look, this is what I see when I look at XRP. It's going this way. All right. BTC can run to 72K? Sure. Yeah, BTC can run to 108K and then sell off to 72K and then go up to 288,000. I agree with you, Dotix. People are underestimating. So, I was looking at some Twitter feeds about people talking all about the the short to long ratio and everything else, which is fine. It's all good stuff to look at on a more like a very short time frame. But when you have this much institutional money just being pumped into an asset like is happening right now, a lot of that stuff doesn't matter as much. That's just the truth. So you're right about that. Liam, what? I don't know. What are you watching? You're watching some guy talk about Bitcoin. Looks like it's maybe bottomed out here for now. We're just waiting to see what happens. It was selling off pretty hard, and so we were just looking at levels and hanging out. But I'm probably going to wrap up soon anyway because I'm getting off of all kinds of topics here. Litecoin. I was watching Litecoin for a trade actually pretty recently here. It's coming into some support. It's holding this uptrend. Litecoin's fine. It's holding this parabolic uptrend. I don't like the project, obviously, like I said earlier, but I'll trade it. I do trade it. Maybe it's got enough people that are interested in it, and it's a tradable asset for sure. So I'm gonna wrap up, guys. I've got something else I've got to work on tonight before I get to bed. So we are gonna wrap up here. Bitcoin is stabilized for now. I might do an update video tomorrow if we can get any interesting price action. We're above the line in the sand that I drew. We'll wait down below it, and so far we've recovered. Let's see if we consolidate above it, or if something else happens overnight. It's still dicey. These overnight moves can be kind of crazy. Both directions. No problem, the Great Duke. I really don't think BTC is going below 54K. I did briefly, but yeah, the long term, 54.2. So there's our other levels, right? So we have this trend line, and that support right there. It didn't quite get there, but you had some light support all through here. Came into play so far. So yeah, I think we're looking okay for now. We'll just see what happens overnight. Do you believe the end of the cycle will end with a 2-year bear market? Yeah, I do. Something like that. I mean, I don't know if it'll be 2 years, but there'll be a bear market. It's just the way the market works, right? Things get overbought, and on a long time frame, especially assets that are moving like Bitcoin is, it's probably going to get overbought a lot. And then you'll have profit takers. You'll have institutions that need to sell, as Jordan talked about this morning, and Rob Paul was talking about it. Institutions are going to have to sell for balancing their portfolios. There's going to be a lot of, I'm going to tell you one other small thing. I get annoyed with people calling Michael Saylor the Chad of all Chads because he has not been tested by a bear market. I want to see if he holds all the way through the bear market, because you know what? If like MicroStrategies start to see the price tanking really bad and they get out toward the bottom before, you know, while they're still in profit, that's going to cause a massive capitulation phase, right? And I could see it happening. Really, I could see, you know, Michael say like, "Well, I was wrong. I still have, you know, a good business and lots of money, so let's just get out before we end up being at a loss. Let's get out while we have profit, and that way I don't look bad." I don't know. He claims he's going to hold all the way through, so we'll see. But he also thinks that it's not going to crash, and it's probably going to. Bearish engulfing on the 5-minute. That's too low of a time frame for me to really... It hit that resistance I had there, right? Boop, 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 boop. Just ping-ponging around. The risk is to the upside. Ultimately, when we're at in the cycle, these are going to be short-lived sell-offs. Ultimately, for the most part. So I think the long doldrums of being boring, going sideways, is ahead of us. Good night, everybody. I'm going to join Jordan's. If y'all aren't subscribed to Jordan or Heath, let me throw Heath up here. Heath at, where's my channel? Your channel? Heath, Trade Talk. So I've got, on my page, I've got two pages that I've got, you know, referenced here. So I've got Jordan's Conquer Trading and Heath's Trade Talk. Subscribe to both of those. Those are both fantastic. And let me put back on the Doge-wave. Get y'all out of here. Good night, everybody.